Hey, Team UBAM. This is Brandy Manise. I am a team leader with Usborne Books, and I am coming to you today to talk to you about rules. Yes, following the rules. Now, I hope it's not that stuffy or mean. I just wanted to share with you that there are rules when it comes to operating a booth in the name of Usborne Books More. The company has put out several guidelines, what we call rules, to help you be successful within your booths, to make sure that you're following the guidelines so that the company is not put in jeopardy in any way, and that we're being courteous to all of the other consultants that may be working in your area. So I have created a PowerPoint, and I'm going to share that with you guys so that you can follow along and see all of the rules that we have. It's really not that bad, promise. Okay, Usborne Booth Rules. Usborne Books More has rules in place for consultants who are interested in doing booths. These rules are very important and should be followed at all times. I'm going to go over some of the basics of doing a booth, and then we'll go into the specific rules. What is a booth? Most of you know what a booth is. You know, at an event, it's a rented space that's geared towards the public or a specific group of people. There are all different types of events. Book fairs, flea market, shopping events, community celebrations, even fundraisers. And there are larger events like like state fairs and trade shows, so basically a rented space at something of that sort. There are usually fees that are paid to rent this space. The consultant sets up a table and sells books on hand, takes orders, books parties, and there to recruit consultants. Now, why do a booth? The main reason to do a booth is to get bookings, to book parties, Facebook parties, home parties, and get recruits. We want to always be building our team and get new people introduced to this company in case they want to join with us. Of course, you're there to sell books, but please know that the sales will never be as high as you like. Your primary goal is not there to make money and to sell books. Your primary goal is to get bookings and recruits. We also do booths to get involved in our community. We want to take this opportunity to get out and meet people, to introduce Usborne Books More into the community, because some communities, some people don't, they haven't heard of us yet. We want to promote our business. We want to get our name and our face out there. We want to, share what we do with the people around us. And, what this company is about is we want to promote literacy in our community and share the importance of reading to our children. So you get that chance by doing booths. And then networking, meeting other vendors. Share your business card with them, get their business card, make friends. Word of mouth is amazing. And if there's another vendor, with another business and one of their customers is talking to them, and they can say, oh, you need some books. I know just the girl for you. And they give your information over somebody else's because you were at that event with them and they really liked you and you got to know them. So network. That is a great reason to be out doing a booth. Now, who can do a booth? Any active consultant can do a booth. If you've had $500 in sales for the 3 prior months, then you're an active consultant. And then any new consultants in their incentive period are able to do booths. Usborne Books does put some mileage parameters on doing booths. They would like you to stay within your community and stick close to home, where you are, so that your customers can find you. So they say 150 miles is about as far as they want you to go when doing a booth, unless, of course, there's no other consultants in that area. And then you would be free, to travel that far to do a booth. But the main purpose should be to recruit and build a team in that area so that they can do that event the next year instead of you driving over that 150 miles. And even 150 miles to me is pretty far to drive for an event. So you want to stick close to home. Registering for a booth. Now this is very important, and these are our main guidelines. When registering for a booth, you want to make sure that there is no other Usborne consultant already registered. You can only have one Usborne consultant per event. Now, most events won't let more than one company be represented. Although there are some organizations out there that don't care. They just want the fee, and they want vendors to come in and set up, and so they're not going to keep track of who is doing each booth. So they may let 5 Usborne consultants. It doesn't matter to them. It matters to Usborne Books More. So you want to make sure that you ask, is there another Usborne consultant that is already registered? If they say yes, then you move on. You find another event, that one's off limits. If they say no, then you have to take it one step further. You need to ask them about the previous year. Ask, okay, nobody's registered this year, but did anybody register for this event last year? Now, some of these events may be brand new. This may be the first year that they've put it together, and that's great because then you are the consultant for that event, which is awesome. But if it's something that's happened multiple years, then you need to make sure that they didn't have an Usborne rep the year before. And if they did, then you can ask who that person is and reach out to that person to see if they're planning on doing the event. Some may have moved from the area. They may not have it in their schedule. But if they did it the previous year, then they get first dibs the next year. Now, if the company won't release that information or say you can't get in touch with that consultant, there is one more thing you can do. You can wait until the 30 days prior to the event and contact the organization again. If that person still has not registered and there's only 30 days left and they have spaces available, then you can register because that means that consultant's not going to be registering for it. And then you can do it. But you always want to try and reach out to that consultant first out of respect. And then, just to make sure, because sometimes there's an issue and they can't register, as soon as the registration opens and they have to wait a little bit. So you want to double check with them. You want to do what's right. The other thing is you want to register as Usborne Books More. A lot of people have individual business names, such as mine is Our Little Readers. I would not register for a booth in the name of Our Little Readers and sell Usborne books. I would have to register as Usborne Books and More. Okay, now here comes the sticky stuff. Booths at schools. Now, this is kindergarten through 12th grade. So preschools, you're fine. You just follow, the guidelines that I just spoke about. Now, when it comes to kindergarten and up, regardless if it's a public school or a private school, if they offer a kindergarten program or higher, if the school or library is benefiting from the event, meaning in any way, shape, or form, they are getting any sort of benefit, meaning the fees that you pay for the event are going to that school, to raise money, anything whatsoever. If it's benefiting the school, then you must be an EC. EC is an educational consultant. If you don't know what that is, then you need to get with your upline and know that you cannot do a booth at a school or library if it's benefiting the school or library. If you are an EC, then you need to go into your back office and see if that school is listed. If it is listed, then it's off limits. That school belongs to another consultant. That consultant services that school, and it would be up to them if they wanted to do that event or not. If they chose not to do the event, that's fine. That's their choice. That's their school. It is still off limits to you. If it is not listed, then you must list it prior to doing the event, but you are able to do the event. Now, right now, our EC program is down. They are working on it. So you're not able to list schools. So technically, if you're not already working your listed school, then you cannot work in a booth at a school or library that is benefiting from the event. Now, if the school or library does not benefit from the event, you must still check to see if the school is listed. If it is, same thing goes, that consultant gets it. If it is not listed, and you have followed the previous guidelines that I just spoke about making sure that there's not already an Usborne book consultant representing at the event, and that there wasn't one the previous year, then you can do the event. The school does not need to be listed at this point, and you do not need to be an EC as long as the school is not benefiting. But that's the key. You need to make sure that the school or library is not benefiting in any way from the event. And most events that are done at schools are benefiting in some way. So there's your fine line. If you have any other questions, because like I said, this is a very sticky area, make sure you get with your team leader so that they can go over any questions that you have. Now, other information about doing booths. You can only represent one company at an event. So Usborne Books More says if you are selling our books, then you cannot represent any other company or sell any other product at that event. Meaning if you make wreaths, or you make baby clothes, bibs, baby blankets, or maybe you work with another direct sales company. Maybe you did Mary Kay prior to Usborne Books, and you have some product that you still would like to get rid of. You cannot do that with or at the same event in the same booth as Usborne Books and More. You would have to register as that event and not promote your Usborne book business. So you have to choose between the two. Now, liability insurance, I'm not really going to touch much on this other than saying check your back office for details. And I'll give you those directions in just a few minutes. But I don't know much about it. I've never been asked for it. So I can't really share any details. Plus, it gets pretty technical, and there is an email address provided so that you can ask those questions and get additional information if that does arise. Now, customer service should always be in the forefront of our mind when we're out in the community, when we're working our business, because customer service is very important. That's how we get repeat business. We want to make our customers happy. So you want to fulfill all the promises that you made. If there's any delays, make sure you're staying in touch with that customer. And an example would be, if you had to order a book that maybe you didn't have there, if you were doing, cash and carry, or if you are placing orders and you go and you find out that by the time your booth is over and you go to place that book is out of stock or out of print, or if there's a delay in shipping, anything that may arise, you want to make sure you're touching base with your customers so that they're aware of what's going on. You also want to provide your customers with a receipt, either, copy of the order form, or what I do is I use Square, and I have all of my information, consultant ID, phone number, everything in there. So when I send them an email receipt or a text receipt, that information's on there for them to contact me if they needed to. And then I always give them a business card too. With every purchase, they get a business card. And then the other is, if you're taking credit cards, you want to make sure you're processing them as promptly as possible. And then where to find this information. In your consultant back office, there is a consultant toolbox, and you can find everything that I went over plus more. There are, all the guidelines. There's a lot of home office suggestions, some Q&A, and then there are a bunch of graphics and downloads that you can get for your booths, little flyers and such. So you want to make sure that you're checking that consultant toolbox. And when you go into the consultant toolbox, just look off to the left and it'll say booths. You click on that and it'll open everything up. think there's 4 links, and you just click on that and it drops it down. So really easy to find, very, very helpful. There are also audio trainings in your back office, and to get to those, you'll go under resources, audio trainings, and then it's under miscellaneous. There are some topics there that you can choose from, but the one on booths is going to be under miscellaneous, and there are several trainings done by some of the top booth producers in our company. So they're very helpful, very informative, and I promise you will learn a ton. And then last but not least, check with your team leader. If you have any questions, go to your team leader for guidance. That's what we're here for. We took the responsibility of building a team. We love our team. We love, the consultants that we're working with, and we want to help you. So do not be shy. Always go to your team leader. If they can't answer you the question, they'll find the answer for you, or they may direct you to a resource, a website or Facebook page, your back office, and help guide you to where you can find that information. And honestly, we learn more when we do it ourselves than when we're told. So they'll give you some answers, but if they, point you in another direction, definitely take them up on that and go do the research. And then if you still have questions, go back and say, hey, I did this research and I still am not sure about this. That is what I wanted to share with you for your booth rules. I cracked myself up. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was informative. Like I said, you can find all of that, or at least, majority of that on your back office. You can always ask your team leader. And then if this is within a training, you can always just comment and ask questions, and I will do my best to help you as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out my PowerPoint, and I will put this in our team file so that you can see this PowerPoint going forward as well. So hope you guys are having a great day, and knock your booth business